Welcome to this ABC 36 News Update. I'm Tom Kenny. More questions than answers 3 days after a prison riot at the North Point Training Center outside of Danville. On Monday, the man in charge of Kentucky's state prisons toured that site. ABC 36's John McGarry has more.
6 buildings on fire, possibly destroyed. 1,200 inmates to collect and count, but no serious injuries to inmates or officers.
This came as close to a miracle as you can get.
Brown acknowledged tensions from an incident 3 days before the riot may have played a role in the uprising. That Tuesday, about a dozen Hispanics attacked a black man and a white man, and new rules on prisoner movement were put into place.
We think that contributed to it. It's hard to speculate as to what was the level of frustration. Now, we know that we have whole dorms of inmates, however, who didn't participate at all.
Insurance adjusters and engineers also toured North Point and will eventually decide what can be salvaged and what must be rebuilt.
My assessment going through and looking at the burned buildings is that I believe most of them will have to be raised, and we'll have to start from scratch on those.
Brown says by Friday, 2 damaged dorms should be ready to hold inmates again. Prisoners now in the gym and chapel will be moved to those. No inmates have smoked since the blaze, he says. He adds there's a simple explanation for why the fire grew so fierce.
There was no way that we were going to, in certain of those situations, risk the lives of firefighters once we knew that we had staff and inmates away from the burning buildings. It's a question of the safety of people versus the safety of buildings.
And Brown went on to say that there were about 36 staff on hand when the riots began, more than on a typical Friday. Berea had not seen a homicide for 11 years until Monday. Police found 52-year-old Kimberly Skidmore shot once in the chest in a home on Forest Street. They've charged her husband, 45-year-old Philip Skidmore, with her murder. They think it began as an argument.
In the preliminary investigation, we looked at the factors and the evidence in the house, and we felt that we had probable cause to charge Mr. Skidmore with murder.
Police say they aren't aware of any prior domestic calls to that home. It is the first homicide in the city of Berea since 1998. Still no arrests after a man's robbed outside of his home in East Lexington. It happened just before 1 in the morning Monday on Cross Keys Road. Police say a man was approached by 3 people, 2 of them women. They demanded his wallet and cell phone and took off. Canine units searched the area, but they weren't able to track the scent. That is our update. You can always get the latest on our website, WTVQ.com.